is it a good time to set up a label, and why do I need a label? I'll start over.
I guess there's two ways of looking at whether it's a good time or not. One way is that, yeah, it's really easy to do that now, but the other way is there's about 4,000 other releases per week coming out that you're going to have to fight with. So in one sense, yeah, the actual setup costs and everything else are very small. You can actually start your label, get it up and running, but you've got to be prepared for the fight, and there's a big fight out there. You're competing with, I mean, even kind of well-established indie labels are struggling, so you're going to be kind of competing with them straight away. But at the same time, like if you were asking, like if you need a label, at the same time, if you pick the right label or the right label picks you, they can give you something that maybe you can't get. They've got connections with either DJs or kind of artists that can get your music out there and propel you onto the next stage in your career. And also they work with like promo companies like these guys who can take you beyond that position. They've got those connections in place already, especially.
So DJ Dave's just made a record. He thinks it's quite good.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to do a deal with a label at the moment. Could I call you, Neil, and say, hi, it's DJ Dave, DJ 2, I've made this great record, would you listen to it? I've got no money, but I reckon it's going to be massive. Would you listen to it, or would you bin it?
No, I'd definitely listen to it.
Name?
Without a doubt, would listen to it. I think before we kind of talk about would you sign it to an agency, management, stuff like that, I think the bottom line has got to be that the music's got to be good. You know, you can have the best PR, you can have the best route to market, the best promotions company, but if the music doesn't really stand up right from the off, that's always been the case. It's got to have good music. So if the music was good, yeah, I would
get involved.
I would get involved. A lot. To be honest, a lot of the clients that we've now got that we signed 4 years ago came to us. You know, we may have worked on them for like 12 months and invested in them because we saw something that maybe other companies didn't.
Well, Tracey, do you do that? Or
yeah.
is it pay to play with
No,
you?
do you know what? I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's my company's working records for fees, you know what I mean? But we understand that a major label has got so much more money than an independent or an artist or a producer. So we promote white labels. We send white labels out there. We send for the high end, the top end of the labels through to grassroots level. You know, and if it's grassroots level, then we will listen to the record. And obviously, you know, when we work records, we can't work records for free, but we will make sure that the price structure is minimal. And if we believe in a record that comes to us, we will promote it the same way as we will promote a top grade record. But we would also help by sending it to A&R people, sending it to record labels, sending it with our reports, letting them know that we've got so many specialist plays across dance shows up and down the country, letting them know what percentage of club DJs are supporting their record, and helping, really. So, you know, there's a different level of client for me, for my job, and this is you're already established huge record label through to some DJ Dave's record, two DJ Dave's records.
Yeah,
and obviously, if I didn't think it was worth my while, I wouldn't take it on.
That's fair.
You know, we've got quality control at the end of the day. I've got to keep my DJs happy with decent music.
No, indeed.
You know, so we do have to, we don't take every single record on, and we do have to be completely honest. If you sent me a record and I thought it needed work doing to it, but you had a great hook in it or a great vocal, we would help you. Yeah, absolutely, for nothing. You know, we want to see records work, you know, and it's about seeing these records, and especially when they come from grassroots level, it makes them even more so special when they haven't been massively funded and massively, you know, with a huge budget behind them through some of the majors. You know, so we'll help as much as we can.
Do majors still have a big budget? Is that a fallacy?
It's not as big as it used to be at all. But the majors obviously still have a lot of artists across the board, but what they don't do nowadays is personally, I don't think they spend enough time nurturing these artists and really seeing them through. You know, you come to single 2 from a new artist on a major record label, and if it hasn't broken certain barriers, they're gone. You know, it's tough. It's so tough. It goes back to there being, because there's so many artists out there.
Just going to go back to the honest point about, you know, whether or not you can feel passionate about the music that you're promoting. Essentially, you know, if I'm going to pick the phone up and speak to someone and try and get them exposure, I think the honesty thing comes across. You know, I mean, you can bullshit all day long, but you know, if an editor or a journalist or a critic, they know when you're not really feeling the music, or you might be into the music, but you know, the guy who's made it's a bit of a dickhead or something, you know, and it's just
too much trouble.
And I think then past that, I think
some massive DJs out there who are dickheads.
There's a lot of egos to kind of deal with as well. So when you chuck that into the mix, when it gets to the customer level or the person buying the record or reading the magazine, that honesty and that authenticity to the music and the story behind it and what's going on in the creative process, that comes across. And okay, it's our jobs to make sure that that's how it comes across. But you know, you've kind of got to start with something that you can get fully behind.